The dominant flywheel, it's a circle. Okay, think about this. It's not steps where basically you get from point A to point Z and you're done. If you think about life and business, when you get to one target and you're about to go to the next target, it doesn't stop right there. If your target is 10 million, are you just gonna stop right there, shut the business down, you're done? No, your next target is probably 20, 30, whatever it is. You know, more employees, more whatever infrastructure. It's a circle and it keeps revolving. And that's the same thing with the dominant effect that we have in the flywheel. First one is defining your targets. Finding out your targets of where you wanna go. You know, it could be staff members, revenue, other things in your life, your personal, professional, financial lives. If you don't have a business, whatever it is, how are you supposed to shoot at something if you don't know where you're going? After that, it's overwhelming action, which is part of you defining your targets. You see how the circle is being built up? Once you define your targets, the second thing is taking massive amounts of action to get to your target. This is one of the principles that a lot of business owners do not understand. One, they have no target of where they need to go. You can't run a business without knowing where to go. Second thing is they're not taking enough action. A lot of people ask me, you're so successful, you've done it so fast, how is it? I knew where I was going. I know where I'm still going. I know my goals keep changing and they keep evolving, keep expanding. You see how the circle, it keeps changing and growing and growing. And then from there, I'm just taking massive amounts of action, overwhelming action on a daily basis, to the point where my team, as soon as a new person gets onboarded to a team, they already know exactly where we're going and how fast we're operating and the actions we're taking to get to the next step. The third, kind of like the hardest thing to do, is mastering your mindset. This is where a lot of entrepreneurs are being tested at. Look, your mindset is the biggest key. I've worked with multiple business owners. They think they're killing it and crushing it. $2-3 million of revenue, $10 million of revenue. They're probably making 100 to 200K in profit in a year, killing and crushing it. They're living their lifestyle. They got the nice car and everything. But then you meet somebody else who their mindset is completely different. They're not satisfied with $3 to $5 million in revenue. They're satisfied with 35, 50, 100 million, or they want to impact 3 million people. You see where the mindset's at? The second thing about a mindset is, and this is very crucial, is in business, you start learning how well you can handle pressure. The more pressure you're able to handle in business and life, business gets easier. You will get lawsuits. You will get IRS onto your table. You will get staff members where you train for a few months, even a year, they leave, or they come back with you with a lawsuit or labor laws, whatever it is. How are you going to react is completely depending on you. That's depending on your mindset where you look at things. Are you looking at a positive outcome of it? Or are you looking at a negative outcome of it? Now think about me. We have over 15 companies. We're in 12 different darn countries. We have over 2,000-3,000 people working for us overall, multiple investors. I'm on multiple board members on companies, right? How much pressure do you think I have on my table? A lot. Anything that comes up to me, what do? You can ask any of my staff members, do I freak out? No. What's the problem? Give me 3 solutions, and what's that one solution that we need to do? Done. It's impossible for me not to find a solution. As long as I'm breathing, my mind's working, I can find a solution. Simple as that. You see where my mindset's going? Because I know exactly where I'm going, which is defining my targets. Number 2, all I know is I got to take shit ton of action. It's never going to stop. The third thing is I got to keep this thing sharp and strong. If I am the CEO and the leader of this company and I have people depending on me, but I can't handle pressure, what is that dominant effect on my staff? Will I have strong leaders? Will I have a strong organization? Or will my organization be weak and not even respect me? Will actually be like, dude, why am I in a company where the CEO freaks out when a small little letter comes in? He can't even attack it. Versus, and any problem comes in, I can count on the CEO because he taught me how to handle pressure. He taught me how to handle stress. He taught my mental stability how to handle this main issue, whatever the heck it is in life, business, wherever I am, in a completely different way. You see what I'm trying to say? You see I was working in a circle? Now the fourth thing is intense focus. You have to stay focused on the end target goal. So the first one is defining targets. Second one is overwhelming action. Third one is mastering your mindset. And then the last thing of the circle, and it goes in a circle again, is intense focus according to your targets and goals. You know how many businesses that I get knocking on my door saying, we want you to be part of this business. We want you to invest and be an equity and a board member onto our company multiple times. But now you have to think about is this pushing me towards my end goal? Is this pushing me towards my targets that I want to hit? Or is it pulling me away? We all have 24 hours in a day, but how come Elon Musk has the most successful companies in the world? What is he doing? He knows where he's going. He knows that he has to take a lot of action. His mindset is completely in a different atmosphere that nobody can think about, and then he's just completely focused. He's dialed in, he's focused, he knows that he needs to put all of his energy into this, and he just keeps repeating that circle, that dominant effect, that dominant flywheel over and over and over again. The flywheel is going in circles, but we have to keep things in balance before that circle stops. Okay, so what is it? You have to have another circle going around the opposite way so the circle keeps spinning. Okay, as you're defining your targets, as you're hit overwhelming action, you have to understand there can't be any excuses. If you define the target is, let's just throw a random number out there, $100 million in revenue in 5 years, that is your goal, right? Do not put any excuses trying to minimize that goal because you think you're not going to hit that. That's a fear coming into your mindset. I've seen a lot of people out there, they're talking to their sales team and they're saying, this month we need to do 100 sales, right? But then the team hits 90 sales out of 100. They're shy of a 10. Good job, guys. You got to hit 90 sales, right? What standards are you hitting for your team? You just lowered the standards. You have the excuse to do it. No, it's not an excuse. You beat the shit out of your sales team and say, why did we miss the 10 sales? What can we do to get those next 10 sales? Again, you're defining your targets. Your target was to hit 10 more extra sales, right? Second thing is you need to hit more actions to get those 10 more sales. Third thing is you're building a mindset, strong mindset that shoot, we lost 10 sales. The target was to hit 100 sales. We got shy of 10 sales, and now we need to put more focus on to hit 10 more sales. You see how we have no excuses? And then from there, we're saying aggressively persistent no matter what the heck happens to hit those target goals so the flywheel keeps going. It all has to mingle up together. You can't have excuses. You got to keep going. You got to be aggressively persistent, and you have to, no matter what happens, set standards in your organization so no matter what, there are no excuses, no bullshit, no whatever, and they're hitting target goals, whatever. Now look, as a CEO and the owner of any organization, company, small, medium, or large, your staff depends on this. And this is how you're going to filter out the good staff, the bad staff, when to hire, when to fire, who to hire, who not to hire, is when you're very clear on where you're going. In our company, we know exactly where we're going. We know the standards that we have in our company. I do not deal with excuses, right? Yes, you can make mistakes. That's how we develop. That's how we transform. That's how we learn. That's perfectly fine. You cannot have excuses though. If you're told to make 100 calls and you only hit 80 calls, why the heck did you not do those other 20 calls? What was the difference? You see what I'm trying to say? You know, first thing what we do in our organization is sales calls meetings. You know, as a company, I'm a sales guy, right? I make sure my sales guys, if they're killing and crushing it, we're growing. The more revenue we have, the more expenses we have. That means we're killing and crushing it. The more profit we're going to get. It's not just about minimizing expenses. I make sure I have more expenses on the plate than the revenue. Why? Because if I can cover that, I know I'm making money and my company's growing and we're having more revenue. Does that make sense? So my sales guys, the first thing we always do is, what's our target goal for today? 20 calls and 80 outreaches, DMs, videos, whatever it is. Out of those, you should have 20 interactions coming back to you where you make some type of calls. From there, you're setting appointments. 10 appointments and 2 to 3 closes. Everybody does it every single day. We define the targets and everything. And then from there, we're telling them exactly those KPIs to hit the overwhelming action of what you need to do on a daily basis. The third thing is we're creating mindset. From the mindset, we do role playing. I come in there and I fire them out, and we're talking about what we're going to do next, where we're at, where our goals are, your goals, everyone's goals, everybody's individual goals. We're setting their mindset to power them up. As soon as they walk inside the door, we're high-fiving each other. The energy's there. And the next thing is, bam, at the end, we're staying focused. What did you do yesterday? And what can you do today better so you can hit all your goals? That's the dominant flywheel effect, and it freaking works, and it's amazing.